Okay, hallo und herzlich willkommen
Hallo.
zu einer weiteren Folge Stanley Parable. Ja, da sind wir wieder. Gehen wir einfach mal zu dem Bucket.
Kann
The
nicht
common
schaden.
complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of
Wo ist der
despair
Bucket?
in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley
Gib mir
Parable
den Bucket.
will feel perfectly normal and perhaps
Gib ihn mir.
even comforting. You may even
Der
want to long for the
Bucket.
gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution
Yeah.
for me than actually
Bucket.
redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of
Mein
crushing
Bucket.
despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Ich kann den Bucket behalten. Ja!
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Wait, was fehlt uns jetzt eigentlich? Nichts mehr, ne?
Ja.
Ich frage mich... Ist das... What the fuck? Stanley,
Oh nein.
habt ihr das jetzt gespeichert? Also haben wir jetzt unsere Figur noch?
Ich glaube, dass es die anderen nicht gibt.
Oh.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the...
Nein, nein,
Well,
nein.
we'll figure that out later.
Ach, gut.
Nice.
Ja.
Danke.
Okay, ich glaube, wir haben alles.
Dann haben wir alle.
Nice.
Du hättest den Alma als erstes holen sollen.
True. Gab's hier nicht irgendwo noch ein Exit?
Ja, ist da rechts. Nee, da steht Exit.
Ah, okay, Exit oder Epilog?
Ich glaube, das bei Epilog sind wir fertig. Die Exit.
Oh, genau. Wir starren
E,
jetzt,
glaube ich.
starren jetzt hier drauf. Wie kommen wir zu Q?
Bei EQ waren wir doch. Da war die Maschine.
Ach so. Ja, ich bin schon
Die
wieder
hat nicht
verwirrt.
funktioniert.
Ah, ja, da war was.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on
Yep.
now?
Ja.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Yo! Das sieht
Well,
langweilig aus.
I mean,
Das sind zwei Figuren.
right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind.
3.
Hold on. let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley?
Die Schrift.
Der
This isn't a coherent
Epilog.
video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything.
Das sind schon wieder Figuren, ich will die
I
haben.
wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original.
Structure in diesem
Maybe
Game?
that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course.
Was sind wir?
Respect. With care for the vision and
das da eine
integrity of the
Figur?
original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really,
Nee.
really tremendous title screen.
Okay.
A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising
So haben wir
conviction,
angefangen.
This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Was? Jo!
Oh.
Alter,
Was
This
wird auf
is
uns
the
warten?
story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a
Okay, ich
company
glaube,
in a big
das
building
ändert sich nicht.
where he was employee
Aber da waren die
number
Lu- das sind die
4.
Stimmt, das ist die Luftballone!
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company
Junge, die
had this
Luftballone.
happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Der Bucket!
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Wo sind die Figuren?
Ja, da müssen wir jetzt schauen. Ey, das hat sich ja verändert.
Stimmt, da war 430 vorhin.
Und da war 400. Okay. Ja, 416, jo.
Wir sind in den Raum später gespawnt.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting
Das wäre ein
room.
anderer Text
But
gewesen.
Stanley had felt the bucket
Oh.
calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Oh Mann. Wir nehmen die Bucket mit zu unserer Frau, das funktioniert.
Now ride the
Yo.
lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him.
Aber was ist, wenn ich da
It
jetzt
should have
runterspringe?
alarmed him, of course, because buckets
Der
are
Bucket
wrong.
wird
But
böse.
Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again
okay.
obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone, said the bucket. Pick up the
Nein,
phone.
der Bucket hat
and it will
gesprochen.
take us back home.
Wir können doch den Bucket nicht untergraben.
Der Bucket braucht einen Namen.
This is the sad story of a man
Bucky.
named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely.
Bucky?
He was a friend.
No!
And then,
No!
very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Boah, wir haben voll die geile Wohnung.
Oh. Die sah beim letzten Mal nicht so gut aus.
Nee, geupgradet wurden wir. Aber wo ist Bucky? Wir sind trapped! No!
Oh nein. Hä?
Oh, springt
Da
auf
ist
den-
Bucky! Du stirbst
Bucky!
doch auf der Couch!
The Stanley Parable reassurance bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Ja.
Lately, I've
Nein.
been concerned about him.
Bucky!
Wouldn't you be concerned as well?
Ah.
To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Schatz!
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me?
Bucket?
Listen to me. It's
Bucket?
just a bucket.
Wo ist
It
er?
can't think. It can't talk.
Bucket!
All it
Bucky.
would ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it.
Er ist so
It
viel
doesn't
mehr als
do
das.
anything else.
Du kennst ihn doch gar nicht. P.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Oh Gott.
Ja!
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket.
Ja!
Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Mein Bucket!
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket.
Es läuft im
It's just a
Fernsehen.
little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier.
Ah,
More
schön.
capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the
Du
ways in
hast
which
doch
it's
keine
so
Ahnung.
much more than just a regular bucket?
Go home to work, go home to work. Wo ist Bucket?
No, I'm having feelings.
Oh nein.
Oh,
No, what's going
hello.
on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what
Hi.
the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be
Oh,
Nein,
different.
nein.
Jetzt in der, in der
The bucket
Pfanne.
could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
Mein Bucket!
Stanley, give me the bucket.
Nein!
Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley.
Nein!
I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or
Close your eyes. Nein! Bucky!
Okay.
Nein.
all of his co-workers were gone.
Wo ist er?
What could it mean?
Wo ist mein
Stanley
Bucket?
decided to go to the meeting room.
Narrator,
Perhaps he had simply
nein!
missed
Die
a
Türstimme
memo.
aber wieder.
Oh ja. Du Monster! Bucket!
Oh mein Gott,
Stanley
Bucky!
lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the
Geht's mal
bucket
links.
tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Ja, okay, machen wir jetzt einfach mal.
Ja.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Wo sind die Figuren? Wo sind sie?
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Was ist da unten? Ne? Haben wir das schon mal?
Ja, da waren wir schon.
Das ist eine Figur!
Jo!
You found one of them. One of the
Oh nein, und
Stanley
ich dachte, sie wären
figurines.
fake.
Remember, no reward for collecting all of these. Only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done.
Safe bekommen wir was.
Happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So,
Er hat doch
I
gesagt,
implore
wir
you to
bekommen
savor
nichts.
each and every
Jetzt
moment
muss
you
lernen
come across
zuzuhören.
one of these beautiful
Nein, der
figurines.
Bucket. Der Bucket sagt jetzt alles. Ah!
Another
LOL.
miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands?
Ja!
Stanley figures.
Yeah.
What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
I've got the feeling money is for stealing, but not yours, of course. That's a lovely purse. Okay.
Okay, cool. Lol. Wo sind, wo sind wir denn jetzt angekommen? Oh nein, warum gibt es so viele Wege?
Sehen wir hier eine Figur? Nee, hier ist keine. Okay. Hä?
Nein, der ist wieder weg. Stanley. Oh nein, dieses Spiel.
Stanley.
Hallo, wie lang geht denn dieser scheiß Fahrstuhl? Du kommst hier nicht mehr raus. Wait a second. Das hat rein gar nichts gebracht. Oh nein.
Okay. Aha.
Okay, dann ab zu unserem Boss.
Yeah.
Stepping
Klavier.
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Oh.
Was it that the bucket knew all along?
Oh Gott.
Was the bucket guiding him? Yes.
Bucky?
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
Oh Gott. Also, es gibt anscheinend bloß 19 Enden von dem... Da ist eine Figur. 19 Enden von diesem Spiel. Ich weiß nicht, wie viele wir haben.
What do you think, Stanley?
Täglich
What
ist's.
name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Es fehlen nur noch 2.
Okay, wo sind wir?
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Oh Gott. Okay, Bucky, du musst uns beschützen.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind
nein.
Control Facility.
Glaubst du, es ist fake? Lass den Eimer zu dir sprechen.
Was machen wir, Bucky?
Das Bucky, sag was.
Gib mir eine Antwort. Warum redest du nicht mit mir?
Ich glaube, Bucky will, dass du da durchgehst, ja.
Ja, Bucky weiß, was wir wollen. Bucky weiß alles.
Oh Gott.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed
Oh.
with television screens.
Da
Yes,
oben waren wir
What
schon mal.
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped
Fired.
the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a
Bucky.
bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking,
Du musst
eating,
alle
working,
Knöpfe drücken.
all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. and as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Alter. Düdü?
Tütü. Ah, jetzt haben wir alle.
Enttäuschend. Ist nichts passiert. Kannst du reingehen?
Ah.
Ich sehe von nichts. Cool.
Okay.
Los, Bucky. Gemeinsam könnt ihr das schaffen.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
We did it.
Ja!
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one
Warum
another
geht die
to
Treppe
lean
nach
on,
unten?
to trust, to support, and to...
Nein!
What? Wait, what was happening? Why had the door stopped?
Das sind
Was Stanley
Vögel!
and the bucket not about to be freed?
Bucky.
Unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty.
Nein!
Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
Nein!
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the
Nein.
soothing warmth of the bucket, will go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Nein, wir hätten fliegen können. Wir wären frei gewesen. Bucky?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed.
Sollen wir das nochmal machen ohne Bucket? Tschüss, Bucky.
Ich weiß gar
War
nicht
schön,
mehr,
so lange es gedauert hat.
ich weiß gar nicht mehr, wie wir da
When Stanley
hingekommen
came
sind.
to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Hier waren wir wirklich nicht oft.
Nö. Okay. Okay, we find them. Au!
Aber der rechts auf dem Whiteboard.
So. Du. Mhm. Mhm. Please do not leave the office before... Okay. Maybe we are the collectibles. Shut the freak up.
Stanley Parable.
Trust the competitionist
Yes.
instead. Why wouldn't they just tell us something will happen? This investigation, this room, they feel pointless, to be honest. There will be a reward for finding them all. Lies, stop kidding yourself. I want them so much. I want to go home. There will be cleaning of this wall required. Who are you? 666 lol. Mission status. A large room, lot of boxes, somewhere both red and blue. Das sind die letzten zwei.
Wir müssen wieder in die Red and Blue Scheiße.
Ich weiß gar nicht, wie wir da hingekommen sind.
Ich auch nicht.
Big room with a lot of boxes.
Ja, das ist bei denen im Warehouse. Aber da kommen wir jetzt nicht mehr hin.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Aber wir können nicht liefen, solange wir nicht alle haben.
Ja?
Leute, warte mal, da steht doch jetzt was in der Toilette, oder? Stand schon immer da?
Das stand schon immer da.
Achso. Okay, komm.
Stepping into his manager's office,
Oh Gott, was war das
Stanley
gleich
was
nochmal?
once again stunned to discover not an
2845.
indication of any human life.
Nein.
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Oh mein Gott. Das war ein Fehler.
Ja. Ach, bitte hör auf.
Feeling
Bitte.
soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Wir bekommen die Freiheit, die wir verdienen.
Oh Gott. Ohne Bug hier. Rest in peace.
Er wird niemals freikommen.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible
Junge, wir haben hier einen
secret
Speedrun
does
zu
this
machen.
place hold?
Echt so.
Stanley thought to himself.
Let me
Will
jump.
he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable.
Never.
Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind
Auch
to
wieder
the
schön, dass der
world?
Text anders ist.
Ja, weil wir den Eimer nicht
But here
dabei
was the
haben.
proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Das Ding
And
ist,
as
dass
the
man
cold
hier halt auch
reality of
on
his
drücken
past
könnte,
began
ne?
to sink in, Stanley decided that this machine blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go.
Es geht wirklich
No
auf.
longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to
Ich
feel.
glaube es erst, wenn ich sehe.
Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin,
Oh
the
mein
feeling
Gott.
of liberation,
We've done it.
the immense
Yeah.
possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Jo, eine Errungenschaft. Schlage das Spiel. Okay. Dann will ich aber sagen, was das mit der Folge. Lasst ein Like und ein Abo, wenn es euch gefallen hat. Schaut auch beim nächsten Mal vorbei und tschüss.
Tschüss.